Hello everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of this series on my maps. In part 1, I had demonstrated basic features of my maps using an example of a proposed bookstore chain that I wanted to open across 5 locations in Ireland. We created a point map showing and styling these locations. In this video, we will see how we can digitize and add line and polygon features on our maps and how we can edit any digitized feature. We will then create a map using an example case that has point, line, and polygon layers on the same map. So let's start. So let me now show you how we can add line features to your map. And for this, let us start a new map. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this preview window and then go back to my original map window. So because we have created one map, this map starts showing up here in this space. And I had mentioned this button earlier. So if you click on this, you will see the list of maps with details. And if you click on this once again, you will see this as a grid. So when other maps start coming in, you will see all of them here as a grid showing thumbnails. So let's start a new map. And I'm just going to come here and click on create a new map. So we have a new map. And let's head back to Ireland and the city of Cork. So instead of zooming in bit by bit, let's just type in a feature, D-O-Y-L-E, Doyle Road. And one of these options will be Doyle Road, Cork. So just click on this and we will be taken to the general area in which we will be working. So you will notice that when we type Doyle Road, we are brought in here, but the feature that we are being shown is actually a marker. So although we want to see a road, which we are seeing here, but it's being shown as a marker and not as a line. So if you wanted to include line features in your map, you will have to digitize them. And that's what we are going to learn in this lesson. So let's go ahead. Let me just remove this marker. So for this hypothetical example, let's create a line layer showing a few roads that are accident prone. So to draw a line, you can just click on this icon and then choose add line or shape. I will tell you about these options a little later on. So you can just click on add line or shape and you will see that the cursor is now a plus sign. And then you can just click once and start drawing this line. If you are doing roads, you can just simply follow the center line of the roads and then just come here and click one more time on the last dot to finish. So once you are done, you can just simply say Doyle Road. If you wanted to add some description, you can do that as before. And then just go ahead and click on save. So we have added Doyle Road to this particular layer of roads, and everything else is just the same. You can change the color of this particular road by coming here and clicking on a suitable color, say for example like this. And you can also change the width of the line. So it can be very thick or not so thick. And then you can just come here and choose a thickness and finished. So we have just added one road. So let us digitize a longer road here. And this is the Father Matthew Road. So this is just for example. So we can come here and click on this icon once again, add line or shape, maybe zoom in a bit, catch hold of this, and start digitizing. So click here and then just keep following the center line. This is the Father Matthew Road, and it is extending from one edge to the other edge. And we can come and click one more time at the same location to stop. And this is Father Matthew Road and save. And we can do the same here, or otherwise we can use uniform styling to style all our roads in one go. We will do that a little later on. So we have just digitized 2 roads. Let us add a few more very quickly. So we will click on draw a line, add a line, and we can start from here and just keep going. And come to this intersection and name this road and save. So let's do one more road, Derry Lane Road. And we are going to come here and once again click on this and add line or shape, and then start from here, click to add a point, and then just keep digitizing and keep moving forward. And just simply going ahead and coming to this particular point and then moving forward, and then coming here and finishing this road right here. Click and click just one more point at the same location or the same node, and this road will be finished. And we will just simply give it its name and then just simply go ahead and save. So we have created 4 roads, and we can now come here and choose uniform styling. And once we have done that, we have all the items clubbed together as one. So like we have done before, we can always come here and click on this particular color, say for example, and we can then choose a uniform line width for all 4 of them. So this is now a line map showing 4 roads. So like before, we can come to this layer and open the data table. So let's add a column here. So I'm going to click on this little drop down as we have done before and insert a column after, and I will just choose accidents on this road because this is going to be a number. So we will come here and make the field type as a number and add. Once this column has been added, we can just start entering data. And this is all hypothetical. So this is just for illustration. So I'm going to come here and double click on this cell, and number of accidents on this road has been 2 in the last year. Then double click on this cell, maybe 10. On the Freres Road, this is about 5. And here we have, let's say 15. So we can enter this data and we can add more columns. Let's add a couple more. So I'm just going to come here and insert a column after. And this time around, I'll just say, for example, the surface of this particular road. And this is going to be text. So I will just come here and click on add. And let's say this is asphalt or bitumen. And so double click and let's say this is also asphalt. And this could be, for the sake of discussion, cement. And say, for example, this could be cobbled, made up of cobblestones. So we can add a column or another column. And let us just add one more column. And this is just to show you the possibilities. And this will be, let us say, for example, the width of the road. And this is also going to be a number and add. So let's say, for example, this was 2.75. So double click and enter the value 2.75 meters. In this case, let us say this is 3 meters. In this case, let us say this is 3.5 meters. So double click and the last one could be 2.75 meters. So now that we have entered data in these columns, we can now visualize our roadmap in different ways using these data columns. So let's first try to create a map of accident-prone roads. So what we can do is we can just come here to uniform style and click on it, and then click here once again. And we can now style this map by data column. So I'm going to come here and first click on accidents. So you will see that because accidents is a numerical field, we have the ranges option that is available to you. So we can group roads by the number of accidents, and you can choose the grouping. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3 groups. And then you can also choose a color ramp. I'm going to choose this color ramp such that different groups can have a different color. So once you have done this, you can now see that roads are being shown in different groups. The roads that are being shown in green have the least number of accidents, followed by the road that is shown in blue. And then the highest number of accidents have happened on the road that is being shown in red. So if we would have digitized many roads, they would all be bunched together in the number of ranges that you have chosen. And then you can easily show a map of accident-prone roads for a given area. Now we can easily visualize this map in a very different way. All we have to do is to just come here and click on Styled by Accident. And instead of accident, we can choose a different column. So this time around, we can choose surface. And you will notice that because surface is not a numeric field, only the categories option is chosen by default. And the moment we choose surface as our grouping or categorizing variable, you will see that we are seeing a very different visualization of the same map. Roads have now been categorized based on the surface that they are built with. So the orange roads are asphalt or bitumen roads. The blue road is the cement road, and the brown road is the road that is cobbled. So you can see that just simply by changing the data column, you can easily visualize your map in a very, very different way. I would like to make a small point here that when you click on a particular road, you will see this information pop up. And whenever you digitize a line feature, the information pop-up also shows you the length of that line feature. So for example, this road segment is 327 meters long. This road segment is 334 meters long. This road segment is 388 meters long. And this road segment is 683 meters long. So whenever you digitize a line, you always get the length in this information pop-up. And what you can also do is you can just simply come here and click on this data table. And you can also create a length column. So we can click on this drop down as we have been doing before. And we can insert a column after. And then just simply name it length. And this length is in meters. And this is going to be a number. And we can just add it here. So when you click on a row, the length for that road is shown. So Father Matthew Road is 327. So just double click and enter 327. Likewise, clicking on the Freya's Walk row, just grab hold of the map and pull this outwards to reveal the information pop-up. And as you can see, the Freya's Walk is 388 meters. So we can just come here and type in 388. Likewise, the Derry Lane Road is 683 meters. So we can just double click and type in 683 meters. And finally, the Doyle Road is 334 meters. So you can just come here and type in 334. So we have also now created a length column for every road segment. And this is very useful when you share your map with your viewers. And this is what they're going to see. And as they expand this and click on a particular road, you will see that they are not only seeing the name of the road, they are seeing all the columns that you have entered in the table. That includes accidents, the surface, the width, and also the length of that particular road. So this is how you can share a lot of useful information with the people with whom you are sharing this particular map. And this is how you can visualize your map in many different ways using the data table. So in this lesson, we have seen how we can create line features and create attributes for those line features and use those attributes to visualize line features in different ways. So what's true for line features is also true for polygon features. When you search for a polygon feature, like this one here, the loch, so if we were to just search for this particular feature, and type in the loch in the search box and choose the loch, you will find that it is again identified by a marker or a point which is placed at its center. but not as a polygon. So if you wish to include polygon features on your map, you will have to digitize them yourself. And the process of digitizing a polygon is just the same as digitizing a line, only that we start from one point and end at the exact same point. So let me now show you how we can create polygons also. Let's give this map a name. So I'm going to click here and let us say, for example, I can call this as landmarks of Cork and save. So this map is now called as landmarks of Cork. And let me now show you how we can add a polygon to this particular map composition. So let me start a new layer, add layer. And let us say, for example, we wanted to digitize all the locks here, the lakes. So this is one of the features that we want to digitize. This is a polygon. So the method of digitizing a polygon is exactly the same as that of digitizing a line. You just have to come here and click on this and choose this. And maybe we can zoom in a little bit. And then you will see that this cursor has now become a cross. And we can just simply go around this particular lake and just keep digitizing the boundary of this particular lake as we want and keep going. And when you come to the last point and click on the same point, this becomes a polygon. So let me just enter the name and save. Let us call this as lakes. We can keep adding more lakes or water bodies to this particular layer. All we need to do is just keep it selected and then just keep digitizing other lakes or water bodies. One quick point that I would like to mention about digitized polygons is that when you click on a digitized polygon, you see this information pop up, and you will see that you have two important measurements for every polygon that you have digitized. And those two measurements are area in hectares. So this particular lake is 5.91 hectares in area. And the perimeter of this lake is 930 meters. So if it was bigger, the units would change to kilometers. For every polygon that you have digitized, you will get these two measurements. And if you want it, you can always come here and open the data table. And as we have done before, insert a column for area in hectares and also one column for perimeter in meters or kilometers. And you can then just simply keep entering these values. So every polygon has these two important measurements. Let us add a third layer, and this time let us call this as parks. So I'm renaming this layer as parks and save. And let us say, for example, we wanted to digitize all the parks nearby. So this is Musgrave Park. So we can do the exact same thing. Come here, add line or shape, and then just keep digitizing and moving around the boundary of this particular park. So you can just come here and finish at the same point where you started. So this is Musgrave Park and save. I can always add photographs of this park as we have done before. All those things are exactly the same. You can change the color and so on and so forth. So all that is very much possible for Polygon. So it's quite easy to add polygons to your map. Let me now show you a few things about how you can edit digitized features and a little bit more about how you can digitize new features. Let's say, for example, when we zoom in here, we have already digitized this Doyle Road, and we later on find out that the Doyle Road is actually a longer road. It is starting from here and it is ending somewhere here. So how can we increase this line and cover this entire road? We have already digitized this particular line. So to do this is quite easy. You can just click on this feature and click on edit. And once you have done that, you can just simply catch hold of the last point and then drag it all the way to that particular place where you want this road to end. Now this can be done in many ways, but let me just show this to you. So I'm just bringing and putting the last point at the end of this particular road. Now you will see that there is a dot here or a node here or a vertex here. So I can then drag this and bring it right here. The moment I do this, new vertices are created. So let me zoom in a little bit just to make this a little more accurate. And then I can keep pulling these vertices. So as I bring in a vertex to the center line of the road, a new vertex is created and I can then start manipulating. So when I brought this one, 2 new vertices have been created, and you can then just simply start working with them and then just move it a little bit here and so on and so forth. So just bring it a little bit here, a new vertex is created, bring that here. You can also move a vertex along the line. You can position this quite accurately. So once you are done, and in this particular case, you will also see that we need to extend this still further up to this particular point. So you can grab hold of this and then just simply go ahead and bring it to this particular point, and then maybe zoom in a little bit and then just drag this and bring it here. So new vertices are created. We can just come here and position it very accurately. So when you are dealing with a particular node or a vertex, and as you move it, new vertices get created. You can move it along the line and then just exactly position it wherever you want. And that way you can actually edit your line features. Now, of course, the length has changed, and you will recall that we have a column for length. So we can always come here and open the data table and alter the length of the Doyle Road as 340 meters indicated here. Because we edited the line feature, we have increased it, the length has changed, and I have appropriately made a change in the length of that road under the length column for Doyle Road. Now, one other point regarding correction of digitizing errors. So here we have a case where we wanted to stop here, but for some reason we have gone past and we have committed a small error. And we want to bring back this line to this particular point right here where the road meets another road. So what we can do is we can just click on this particular road. And once we have clicked this road, we can just let this pop-up go away. So the objective is to remove parts of this line and bring it up to this particular point. So we can do that quite easily. Just come to the point and right click on that point. And then you have an option of deleting that particular point. So just click on this and that point will be deleted. Click one more time, that point will be deleted again. And click one more time. So that point is deleted, and we can bring back a line to a desired particular point. So right clicking on any point gives you an option of deleting that point. We'll just move the line back a bit to the last vertex. So this is how you can correct overshoots. And the same also goes for polygons. So say, for example, if we have digitized this particular polygon, and when we zoom into this polygon, we find that there are some inaccuracies. We can always click on this particular polygon and then just simply keep dragging and creating new points. And as we move, you will find that a new point has been created. So we can bring this here, and then you can keep working and using these newly created points and have a more accurate representation of these points. So as you move and drag these points, notice that new points are created between these vertices. So in this particular case, a new point has been created automatically, and then you can just keep working with those points. So as the case may be, you can come back again and edit an already digitized feature and make it much more accurate. So this is how you can correct for digitizing errors that you have made when you first digitized a particular feature, or maybe when you are digitizing the feature for the first time. Use this technique to make sure that you have accurately digitized that particular feature. So let me now create a new map and show you a little bit more about digitization. So let's head back again to Ireland and zoom in and go to the city of Cork as an example. Let us say we want to create a map of all the farms that are doing organic farming. So we can click on this and give this a title, Organic Farming. And the idea is to include or show fields around Cork or farms around Cork that are engaged in organic farming. Now, this is something that you cannot get out of this map. It's not on the map at all. And let us say we have done a survey and we have identified fields which are or farms that are engaged in organic farming. So how do we bring those kinds of features on a map? We can do that quite easily if we have the correct information, just simply by changing the base map and bringing in the satellite base map. So you get a recent picture of the area as seen by the satellite. So as you zoom out of Cork, you will see fields. And let us say, for example, we have determined that this field is engaged in organic farming. So now, because we have a satellite picture, we can digitize on the satellite picture. This information is not available on the map. And using a satellite picture as a base map, you can then digitize, add line or shape. And we can say that this is one of the farms that is engaged in organic farming. And let us just say farm 1. And then we can come here, zoom in and repeat the same. Come here and add a line or shape and then digitize around this particular farm. You can always go back and edit this and make it very accurate as I've shown before. So this is farm 2. Just double click and backspace and enter farm 2 and so on and so forth. And let's do a few more. This could be one other farm that is engaged in organic farming. So you can come here and start from here. I'm doing this very quickly, and this is just a hypothetical example. So farm 3. So these are all the farms that are engaged in organic farming, certified organic farming. And we can keep going on and keep digitizing more farms. Click on this, add line or shape, and then just click on one edge and just digitize that particular field. And this is farm 4. So using a satellite image as a base, you can add in quite a few features. And then you can open up this table and then keep adding other fields and describe what kind of organic farming is being done, who is the owner of this farm, what is being produced, and so on and so forth. And of course, we can always style them uniformly, give them an appropriate color. You can also alter the transparency. So if you want to show something that is underneath these polygons, go all the way to the right, or otherwise, if you just want to show the farms themselves, you can go all the way to the left or something in between, something like this. And you can also increase the width of the border if you wanted to using this slider. So this is how you can add features to your map which are actually not seen on the map, and you can do this using satellite images. So just change the base layer and say, for example, we wanted to now also include bird habitats, and these are not given on the map. So you can create a new layer or start a new map and then digitize bird habitats. So you can digitize and include features on your map that are originally not present on Google Maps by just simply changing the base map to a satellite picture and using that as a base. And this can include line features, say, for example, hedgerows. And hedgerows can be places of great biological diversity. So you can digitize this line. So this could be a line feature. And you could also identify point features like individual houses or farmsteads, and then use this marker and create a new layer and digitize these farmsteads as points. So you can use the satellite image as a base to include features that are not seen on the standard Google map. Now that we have a better idea of how Google My Map works, let's see some representative examples and cases where My Maps can be used to create meaningful maps. In the first example, we will see how we can use My Maps as a planning aid for planning events, campaigns, and help map community resources. In this example, I invite you to imagine a hypothetical situation where we will try to create a map that will help us plan and run a sustainable neighborhood campaign or project in a locality of Delhi, India. The idea is to take up activities and initiatives in the neighborhood that will encourage people to be sensitive towards environmental concerns and reduce their ecological footprint as a community. In this map composition, we will try to bring together everything that we have learned so far and create a map that has point, line, and polygon layers in one single map. We will also make use of satellite imagery as a base map to digitize and record features of interest. So as you can see, I've started a new map. So let's zoom into the neighborhood area in Delhi. And to zoom in quickly, we will type in Signature Bridge Delhi. And you will see some options here. So we can pick up the first one, Signature Bridge, New Aruna Colony, Wazirabad, Delhi. So let's just click on this one. And this takes us to that particular area. Now for this project, because we want to map a number of features that are not present on the default Google map, let's change the base map to satellite image and zoom out a bit to have this entire area in view. So this is the general neighborhood in which we will be launching our sustainable neighborhood campaign. So what I can do is I can first come here and click on this and give this map a title. So I'm calling it Sustainable Neighborhood Project. So we have just given a title to our project and our map. This is the Sustainable Neighborhood Project, and we are just planning different activities. So the first layer that I would like to create is that of a boundary and include other boundaries as well. So let us just give this a name, boundaries, and save. And let me start by creating an outer boundary for our project. Let's define the neighborhood. So I'm going to digitize a boundary polygon for our neighborhood. This is all hypothetical. So maybe it'll start from here and it'll go till this place. And as you try to push the boundary, the map automatically moves. So we will just come here and move up. We can also zoom out and then just click to create a boundary, and then maybe just adjust it a little bit if we wanted to. So we have just now created a boundary. If you grab hold of the entire polygon, you can then move it and position it precisely. So once we are done, we can edit and give it a name and save. So we can alter the color of this and also change the width of the border and maybe take the polygon transparency to the extreme. So we have just created a neighborhood boundary. We can keep adding other boundaries if we wanted to on this particular layer. So let's just zoom in into this particular area. And let us say, for example, we want to start a plantation drive and we want to designate some places where we will plant trees for afforestation. So let's denote those patches. And let me just get rid of this because I use this to reach this particular location. So let me add a layer. I'm adding a layer. And let me call this layer as proposed plantations. Then go ahead and save it. So I have a new layer, this layer is selected, and now I can designate polygons which we will take up for plantation work. And I'm starting and adding a line or shape, and maybe zoom in a little bit more, and then just start from here and take up all these areas for plantation. So as I reach the edge, the map automatically forwards and shows a new area. So this is a polygon feature that I have created. And these are the areas that we plan to take up for plantation. So plantation area 1. We can add a description, add a photograph, and all that kind of thing. And we can maybe give it a color and reduce the transparency completely. And we can always uniformly style this later on. So let us add just one more area here. And this could be another area that we can take up for plantation. This is all hypothetical. So I'm just coming here and digitizing this area. And so we can demarcate in our neighborhood all areas that we propose to take up for afforestation and plantation, such that we can reduce the carbon from the atmosphere in the neighborhood. And this can be plantation area 2. So I have just added a polygon feature here. We can, of course, uniformly style it. So once we have added these plantation areas right here, we can just come here and click on uniform styling. And maybe we can open up the labeling so you can see that the name of the plantation area is now visible. We can now come and click on this and give it a color and increase the border width, etc. So we have just created in our neighborhood 2 areas that we want to pick up for plantation. And these are polygon features. So we can add another layer, and this layer could be nature walks or nature trails. And these are the trails that we want to take people on, such that we can give them an appreciation about environmental issues, etc. So we can just come here, and we are now adding our second layer. So we have selected the nature trails layer, and you will remember that you can select a layer by just clicking on it, and this blue line will appear here. So let's bring this area in focus. And the first trek could possibly be digitized here. Add a line or shape, and this could be our first trek starting from here and finishing here. And people can do bird watching. So click one more time on the last dot, and this line is created. Forest trek 1, and save. And maybe extend this also a little bit to this particular point where people can meet. Let's switch off the boundary polygon for now, such that it does not interfere with our work. So let me just give this some bright color, like red, and we will increase the width, and so on and so forth. So one trek has been added here. Maybe we can add another trek. So we will come here and click on this and add another line feature. And this is a trek that will help people appreciate the sandy bank of this particular river. So click on the last line, and we will just call this as sandy bank trek, and save. We can, of course, add photographs, etc. And let us give it a different color, this color, and also increase the line width of this trek as well. So we have added 2 lines. Maybe we can zoom in and have a boat ride also, where we will take people on a boat and help them see the problem of pollution in this particular river. Click on the last point, and this could be river ecology trek. So we have added 3 line features. So let me just give it a yellow color and increase the width of the line. So we have just added another layer where we are now showing 3 different kinds of treks in individual styles, as you can see. Let us say, for example, we wanted to add a point layer, and we will like to build a few recycling centers here. So we will add this layer once again, and a new layer is created, and let us call this recycling centers. So this is what we plan to do, and we can then zoom in into a particular area and say our first recycling plant, and this layer is selected. So this time we will just add a marker and say this is going to be located somewhere here. So we will just call this as RC1 and save, and change the color of this. Let us say we want to show it in bright red, and come here and choose an icon. So we have this recycling icon right here, and click on this, and we can add one more recycling point here. So these are point features that we are adding to this particular map, and we'll come here and add one more recycling point right here, and this will be a recycling station 2, and save, and we can do the exact same thing here, show this in red, and choose the recycling option. Of course, we can uniformly style all of these. So these are our 2 recycling centers that we have added. What we can also add is another layer, and you can see how this map composition is bringing things together. And for this layer, we can just simply say nature clubs, and we would like to target all the colleges, etc., to start nature clubs. So we will just zoom into this particular area and come here and click on colleges, and we will choose the last option here to look for colleges in this particular area, for example. So you will see that there are quite a few colleges in our area, and we want to exclude these colleges, these 2 colleges, so we can find out what these 2 colleges are. So one is this, and the other one is this. These fall outside our area, and this is another college that we want to exclude. So we can just come here and keep adding all these colleges, and as you come here, you will see these colleges being highlighted, and we are just adding all these colleges. And once we reach this, we will ignore this, and we will ignore this, and we can add this college, and we can add this college. So this covers all the colleges, and these 2 we have ignored, so we will just get rid of these. So these are all the places where we can organize campaigns and start nature clubs. These have actually been added by mistake in the boundaries layer, because when I was including them, this layer was selected. So what I can do is I can move them to this layer and just click, and you will recall that the only condition is that they need to be styled individually. So I'm just picking them up and dropping them on the colleges layer, and I will have to do this one by one because I made this mistake, but it's good because we can now see how we can move from one layer to the other layer. So click once on it, catch hold of it, and once it turns into a 4-headed arrow, you can just grab it and move it. So you can now see that we have all these colleges, and they are in the nature clubs layer. And if we want, we can do uniform styling for all of these and choose an icon, etc. So you can see that we are now displaying different colleges. We can add just one more layer, and we can just look for Department of Wildlife. So we can interface with government bodies who can help us. So you can see that in this area, we have 2 bodies here, right here, and one of which is this one. This is the Department of Wildlife, and the other one is this one, which is another Department of Wildlife office here. So we can add a new layer and call this layer as government interface, and maybe add these 2. After selecting this layer, just go to the top and click on this one and add it to the map, and then click on this one and also add it to the map. So you can add things from here as well. So we have added these two locations as government interface. So we have created a small plan for a sustainable neighborhood campaign. And once done, we can just simply change it to something a little lighter in terms of a base map. And then we can just set this as our default view and take a quick preview. So once you share this map, this is what people are going to see, and they can switch on the boundary and they can see various activities. They can switch them off, on, etc., and click on a particular feature. And because we added this using Google Maps, we have photographs of this particular feature right here. So you can create a plan for an event, campaign, or project in Google My Maps, like we have seen in this example, by adding various thematic layers. So this brings us to the end of part 2 of this 3-part series on Google My Maps. In part 3, that is the concluding part, I will demonstrate more such examples to showcase other meaningful ways in which we can use Google My Maps. I look forward to seeing you in part 3, the concluding part in the Google My Maps series. Many thanks for watching.